Hello everyone. It's Robin M. DeGroot with the TLC Truth, Love, Creativity podcast and YouTube channel. I'm actually going to try to combine them today, so my multitasking efforts will be a bit of an experiment. But today's episode is actually about all the different keto items that are out there that really help me keep a keto diet and keep a keto lifestyle. So basically, I have this little space on my bed here and all kinds of objects outside of it that I'm going to bring into the middle. And you can see what I used to bake with and what kind of things are out there for purchase that are really awesome treats. And they're kind of using a lot of the newer sweeteners that I really recommend. So whether you're on a keto diet or not, I actually recommend some of these sweeteners because they're using a lot more of the fiber, and then something that doesn't affect your insulin levels. So I really like this stevia. This stevia is different now. It's been updated, so it's stevia mixed with erythritol. Erythritol is actually a kind of a new game changer, in my opinion, because erythritol makes the bitterness not happen and this weird cooling sensation. So the other sweetener of erythritol that I like the most is sucrin, which I think is from Norway. But there's Swerve as well, which is a pretty popular product. And it has some fibers in it, but I personally like this one better because I find it doesn't give the cooling sensation to my mouth. So if you can get it, mostly you can get it on Amazon now. There's a lot of sellers, so it's not as expensive to carry over from overseas. It's still fairly expensive, but I usually buy it in 2 packs and then use it in most of my baking, along with some stevia, because this is still sweeter. This is pretty close to 1-to-1, and I actually like that because sometimes there's also Lakanto. And Lakanto has a really good maple syrup replacement, but they also have a powdered sweetener, and I feel like, I keep wanting to say sugar, that's why I'm like sweetener. But I find it's like more than 1-to-1, so the sweetness is a little bit high. And then it's a bit hard to judge when you're doing baking. So anyway, these are the top sweeteners that I really recommend. I'm just going to throw everything out of the view here so we can get on with the rest. The other thing is very helpful is almond flour. So I've been getting it at Costco because now they have the super fine blanched type. And before that, I think I got it from Honeyville, maybe. And then I don't have to show you, but coconut flour is probably very important, as also tapioca flour and arrowroot. But you don't use a lot of those because they'll add up with the carbohydrates without fiber. So this is a really awesome bread company. This is Julian Bakery. Julian Bakery makes bread with paleo in mind, gluten-free, but basically their keto bread is delicious. So I bought the 3-pack. It takes a little bit of time to be ordered, but these are the ingredients: blanched almond flour, organic eggs, organic butter, organic cream cheese, vanilla extract, and baking soda. It also contains eggs, almonds, milk. So if you're allergic, then keep those things in mind. And a lot of times the way that keto things work is there will be a carbohydrate amount, and then you can subtract the fiber and subtract the sugar alcohols. And that becomes important in some of the next things I'm going to tell you about. There's also this company called Perfect Keto, which is pretty great. They make some bars that I really enjoy. So this is one of the bars. I think I like their lemon poppy seed a little better just because I'm not a super fan of too much chocolate. This is a chocolate chip cookie dough, but it's very chocolatey if you do like that. And they also have a chocolate powder, which you can make like a chocolate milk or hot chocolate in the morning. And it's mixed with collagen and some other keto-friendly things that give you the lasting energy throughout your day. And it has some of the oils mixed into the powder. Now, this brings me to a company that I am doing as a network marketing company, which is It Works. So basically, It Works also has a keto coffee, and it's also got um, the collagen, a little bit of collagen mixed in, and it has the dehydrated butter and MCT oil and cream powder. Now it's wrapped up for me because this one has probably 125 milligrams of caffeine because it's got 50 milligrams from regular coffee powder, and then it's got green coffee, which is the 75 milligrams, and that's more caffeinated, but it also works to speed up metabolism and help with weight loss. Now I have a few of my own issues with caffeine, so I actually take 2 teaspoons out of this in my morning drink if I'm actually going to do any coffee. There's about 6 teaspoons in here, so that would be 2 tablespoons. So that's the way I do it with their coffee. They also have, this is the big pack, it comes in about 15 of those pouches. Then they have Keto Energy. This thing is really delicious. It's kind of like a powder of lemon crystals that you melt on your mouth. Reminds me of the days of Fun Dip. Crazy. But it also has a little caffeine in it, so I don't have it too often. Now, other things with It Works, these chews are so delicious. These chews are berry, and when you have 2 of them, it's 9 carbs, but then you can subtract 3 grams of fiber, so you're left with 6 carbohydrates. And these chews are a little probiotic, so they're good in between meals and to stop the hunger, but they're also just so delicious, so it might be great for kids. And then these are some of the things I was going to bring on a trip recently, but the greens on the go is what I've been actually making more in the morning. The greens on the go are more like a chocolate powder that does have a blend of greens in it, so a pretty extensive ingredient list of kale and super greens, dandelion, lots of great things, but this thing is also so delicious. They have some stevia in it, so it's pretty sweet without adding anything. So I've been using that. If you use this mixed with the keto coffee and you whip it up just with hot water and a hand blender, that is a delicious kind of mocha frothy drink. Now this is their collagen works. This one is Tropical Crush. So it becomes kind of orangey, basically kind of coral when you mix it. I like to mix it with some almond milk and water, and then this is just like a delicious frothy drink, and I like it cold, I like it at midday, evening. It's not caffeinated, and it can just help you with cravings. So if you haven't gathered already, I definitely get cravings. I not cravings specifically for sugar, but for a treat. Now, I've always dealt with my own issues of reward, emotional eating, but by supplementing that with some better quality things, I think it definitely helps me. So this is their ketone powder. You also mix this with water. If you're going to go for a workout and if you want to keep yourself in ketosis, this is very delicious. It helps with energy and helps keep you in ketosis and that your body is still burning fat. Now I know that the Perfect Keto company also has a ketone blend, as well as the gel, the New You gel. They have a ketone blend. So because I am a distributor for It Works, I'm using theirs, and I do like theirs. I like the quality of the ingredients, and I can also have my own financial business by continuing to use their products. Then I prefer to use theirs. But I suggest everybody get some kind of ketones in their program. Now this is chicory. It's powdered, and I replace this as a coffee drink if it's too late in the day, or if I'm just not sleeping well, so then I know I have to cool it on the caffeine. This is pretty amazing stuff. It's also a prebiotic, so it's very delicious when you make it into a coffee drink. I think you do need to mix it with some cream, or else it's got a little bit of a tannin kind of taste on the back of your throat. But I don't mind teas instead of coffee when I just need the warm drink. I tend to like that in the mornings. And this is an old company that my mom and my family did a long time ago. And they had the Cali tea, which was a tea bag tea. But I always loved the powdered tea, which was the Fortune Delight. So Fortune Delight is still a delicious tea that I will buy mostly on Amazon these days. I'm not part of the company anymore. But if you ever want to try something that isn't really caffeinated, but it's a delicious powdered tea, I highly recommend it. My kids always loved it, and that is another thing. So now we're on to some treats that you can buy. So this company I just tried, it's really good. This is Chalk Zero. And they call it bark, but basically you get these little bars in the bag, and they have almonds in this one, and it's so good. It's sweetened with stevia. Pretty sure it's some people say sugar alcohol free, so in that case they would not have erythritol probably. So that's just something to be aware that if you start with any of these things and you haven't had it before or very much, it is acting like a prebiotic. So you do need to be aware that it could give you like kind of loose stool, maybe full on the runs if you have not kind of built your digestive system up. And that brings me to this, which is xylitol sweetened hard candy or mints. And I actually saw this company on Shark Tank, which was pretty funny because I already knew about xylitol from my dentist a long time ago. And this company, they were a family-built company, and they were just making the whole sheets of candy and breaking them up, so they called them ice chips. And they're pretty sweet, but they're really good. So they're actually good for your teeth because it does help with the flora in your mouth and digestive system. And that also leads me to this company, which is also I found at the dentist, my holistic dentist, and it's Zollipops. So Zollipops have lollipops that are sweetened with xylitol. Xylitol is a sugar alcohol made from birch trees, I think, and certain fruits. These lollipops are very delicious. They don't taste different. They don't, if you just have one or two, it doesn't do anything to your digestive system. And it's actually good for your teeth. So that's something really good for kids, especially. But you do have to be aware if you have dogs. For some reason, xylitol is very toxic to dogs. So do not let them get any hold on that. And this is something new from that company called Zaffy Taffy, and it is absolutely delicious. I love anything that's chewy, so these have been my new addiction along with the keto chews. Now the way this works, it says 20 grams of total carbohydrate for 5 pieces, but then there's 20 grams of sugar alcohol. So you can subtract the sugar alcohol from the total carbohydrate and you get your net carbohydrate. So that would technically equal 0, and that makes it a little more easy to indulge in those than the It Works ones, because there's still 6 carbohydrates net for every 2 that you're eating. Now this is another company that's doing a chewy candy. It's very awesome. This is called Smart Sweets by, it's Smart Sweets, but they have different versions. It's made in Vancouver, so that's pretty cool. Since I'm Canadian, I'm very happy they did that. I think they started with the gummy bears, which were these ones. They're really good. They're very equivalent to regular gummy bears. The textures, everything. And the super sour blast buddies, they're a little strange because of the powder on it, because there's some rice powder with the malic acid, I think. But they're pretty good. They have 35 grams of carbohydrates for the entire bag, but then you subtract 28 grams of fiber, and that leaves you with 3 grams of sugar and net carbohydrates for the bag. And my favorite that they've just made is their Swedish fish. They call it sweet fish, but I really love these. So that's something exciting. I get them at Sprouts or Whole Foods, or else order them online. And another company that I've been buying things from is High Key. So High Key have these little mini cookies, and I ended up seeing the suggestion as I was looking for a cereal, a keto cereal. And there are a few companies out there. There's Magic Spoon, there's Catalina Crunch, but I was trying not to have too much milk products for a month or so. So then this came up as a company. You could treat it like cereal if you wanted to, but these are really delicious. They're pretty filling, so they'll give you a good snack. And they also make an instant hot cereal, which is really good. And the strawberries and cream is a delicious flavor. So you mix a 1/3 cup of this mixed with a 1/4 cup of hot water, and it's really great. And then I always add my almond milk after. Now this is another company that I was working with through another person online, Morley Robbins, and also with the information from the Magnesium Miracle book. So Jigsaw Health has a lot of really great products, but this one in particular I would like to suggest to a lot of people because it is a raspberry lemonade powder you can make before bed, and it has magnesium in it, so it will help you sleep because this is the relaxing form of magnesium. And it's not magnesium citrate, so that one is not too great for people because it can give you the runs also. But anyway, I did want to make this video partly because I was talking to my sister lately and she gets kind of upset. Here, I can show you my face now because I'm trying to do this combo thing. She gets upset with the whole diet experiment and she doesn't really want to be on a diet, and I agree with that actually. So I think there has to be a lifestyle. I've been doing different diets all of my life, and basically the keto lifestyle for me is a lot more sustainable. So I didn't lose like tons of weight because I didn't necessarily have so much to lose because I've already gotten myself to a certain point that's pretty stable. But it is something that I don't gain weight and I have energy. I'm not starving with hunger pains. I can do the intermittent fasting, and I just feel like the baking is there still. And I really like to bake and make my own baked goods. And then with all these products becoming popular now, this is just really exciting. So I wanted to suggest some of my favorites and just show people that there's ways to keep temptation out of your life so that you just slip off the keto if you're doing keto, because there's just so many baked goods out there that everything is made with sugar and flour, and it's kind of like too easy. So I think the world really needs to change and start to get into just the difference with the macros. So we do need a higher healthy fat ratio and really calm down on the carbohydrates. So this way, the main thing is that your macros are something like, let's say, 80 to 90 grams of fat, and then there would be 50 to 70 grams of protein, so it's not an extreme protein diet. And then there is usually around 25 grams of carbohydrates. And that would be the net. So if you're too worried about that, like even eating that one bag was 28 grams, it's not really the case if you're subtracting the fiber. Now, some people who've had like some extreme health problems, they should go for the full carbohydrate, and that's what is suggested. But I actually personally think you should go for the net carbohydrate, and you'll at least be lowering it and looking for fiber and for the sugar alcohols to reduce the actual sugar content. There's also theories that your body, your taste buds taste sweetness, and then you basically make an insulin response anyway. I don't necessarily know if that's true. I don't really believe that because of my own experiences. And I would think that the way that these sugar alcohols are processed, that you don't necessarily have the exact same insulin response, that's for sure. So I would look into all these things, especially if you're looking for a sustainable, pretty healthy lifestyle, and you're worried about always falling off the wagon and then kind of falling into the trap of treats and binging, and then feeling bad about yourself and like you're failing. So my secret is to have like a lot of these convenience things, because our lifestyles are just so much that way nowadays. So I will talk to you all soon. I am coming up with the first interview soon. Should be recorded on Thursday, and then hopefully I'll get it up soon after that. But I look forward to that. And the interview is on the podcast. I'm not sure, we won't see it on YouTube. But for all the podcast listeners, I hope you check out the YouTube, my YouTube channel. It doesn't necessarily have the TLC, Truth, Love, Creativity title yet, so it's best to go through my website, which is robinmdegroot.com. And you can click on the YouTube button, and then you'll get all the videos there. The more subscribers I get, then I can personalize the name soon. So definitely subscribe and share all these videos and podcasts. And I will talk to you all soon. Thank you for listening.